You know, for me, when I was thinking recently about what does a great awakening mean to me, number one, the easy answer is The Matrix is a documentary. And if you start there, you'll be on the right lines. And secondly, it's this awakening in consciousness. And you know, my channel is expanding consciousness through curiosity. And that to me is what the Great Awakening means, is question everything, be curious of everything, never think that you've got there. And where I'm very much at the moment is really all about, you know, I sound like a broken record, but it's so simple to say and such a great path of development to do, is that, you know, the answers are always inside of you. There is no, yes, we can use a lot of this external information, and we do need to. Different people need different things at different times to actually click us out of this slumber and make us see things through a different pair of eyes. You know, we've all seen the scenarios when you look at those pictures from different sides and you can see different meanings in them. You know, you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change, is absolutely key to me. That's Wayne Dyer. And so for me, the Great Awakening is all about changing the way you look at things, but then not getting stuck there in terms of, okay, that means then we can create the new. It's beautiful, isn't it? Because the whole point is we all have different gifts. And I've heard so many people saying that if, for example, there is a complete revamp of the financial system, people can look at everything from a positive and negative. A lot of people look at it in terms of, well, no one will want to clean the streets, no one will want to do this. But I'm like, no, I just don't believe that, because we've all got different passions. We've all got different things that bring us joy. And some people love nothing more than to look after different aspects of their community, for example. So I think the beauty is that when we all start going back to this ancient wisdom, you know, I'm really drawn to at the moment of looking how we can use this ancient wisdom in our modern times. And that for me is absolutely crucial, because we don't want to throw away all that's good in modern times. If we didn't have this technology, yes, we could all be speaking to each other telepathically, but I quite like this format for where I'm at right now. And I think, you know, you can keep what's serving you, but really look at how you're using it. But one thing I really wanted to ask you about, Michelle, is when the going gets tough, when you don't get that instant gratification, what are your tools and techniques to deal with it? Because so many people get pushed back so quickly.
That's a really great question. So I truly believe that every test that we go through in life, we draw in ourselves. So our higher self is drawing in that experience. Whatever the test may be, we're calling it in. And when you start to take ownership of every single experience being one you called in, and then you have to start taking opportunity to notice and observe through the observer effect, which ones are repeating, which loops am I in? Because they're going to repeat. You're going to keep drawing them in until you learn, right? And that's why we came here. We came here to learn. So what do? I go into meditation. I ask myself why I called on this experience, what I was meant to learn. I'm a quick learner. I've proven that to myself over and over and over and over again. And there's always two doors. There's the door of what my intuition wants, and there's the door of maybe what I feel forced to do. And I just always choose intuition. I always choose to just say, what is my gut telling me? What should I do about this? And how should I learn from this? And I follow that. And every time it just seems to work. It's like a meditation for me is definitely my lifeline.
Saying you would visualize a lot.
I visualize. So I'll meditate and I'll go into a state of visualization. Where is my spirit at today? Where is my 3D body at today? What are they doing? And when I do that, it gives me a whole new perspective on life, because my higher self is way calmer than my 3D version, you know? And when you go into the higher self, so again, we talked about you kind of bypass, you've got the body, the soul, and the spirit. And we really have to break away from the soul, because the soul is mind, will, and emotion. The soul is the processor. Everything that comes in through the processor has to be processed and then come back out. So it's how you interpret life. That's you processing. Some people have called it other things, but that's just my way, right? So when I take something in, I have a choice. I can rewrite the programming in the processor. And one of the easiest ways to rewrite that programming is to go up into the higher form, into the spirit. So if I ask, where is my spirit? And sometimes people have never connected to the spirit. We've never been taught how. So many times people have to actually go find their inner child and set them free before they can enter into that spirituality, that truth. Many times people are actually they're caged. I know when I set my inner child free through visualization, I found a little girl in a tent. She was 8 years old, and I knew immediately that this was my inner child. That's when I left off in my life. Whenever you say no to something, you're saying yes to something else.
Absolutely.
And whenever you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else. You create a vacuum or a void, you know what I mean? That has to be filled. That is a law. I don't know what the law is. I mean, I don't know the name of it, but I was observing it.
We'll call it the vacuum law.
Yeah, but we'll call it that for now.
Yeah.
But so I don't know that I'm creating or destroying energy, but I'm using energy. I'm moving energy, whether it be energies I bring in or whether it be monetary. Energy is everywhere, and energy is all the time. We all communicate through frequency. So I don't know that you can create nor destroy it, but I do think that there's a lot in that observer effect where you are, once you observe the particles appear, whereas they wouldn't appear without the observer. So are we creating matter? I don't know. Or are we just shifting matter?
It's all up for grabs. I mean, I think, I actually heard David Icke talking in a really good interview about, we talk about the speed of light, but all these rules of physics, you've only got to see what the quantum physicists are doing now. They're all up for grabs. Some might be proved to be in our current reality true, some might not. But I think we need to stop restricting ourselves by things that we've been told are true, because if there's a doubt, it doesn't feel true to us, then question it. And I think so many times we're given a boundary. For me, science, I am a scientist. I love science, and science is all about asking questions, posing hypothesis, and then testing that out, but not being attached to the outcome of it. And I think that, to me, sums up really nicely where we are now. You can vilify all these different areas, but just like you started the conversation with, everything can be used for good or bad. What's your intent behind it?
We can't be scared of these things. Like, I personally have been really practicing the law of agreement, and we all have, we just don't know we are. So if two can't walk in agreement, they can't walk together. And if you're trying to get someone to agree with you and they're simply not agreeing with you, you're wasting a lot of energy.